Jake Paul has his upcoming bout scheduled in the courtroom following yet another victory in the boxing ring. In late June, Paul defeated former WBC middleweight champion Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. via wide unanimous decision, earning his 12th professional victory. It wasn't without controversy, though, as has apparently become the norm with Paul's bouts. A few prominent media personalities said the battle was fixed or manipulated in Paul's favor. The most well-known of those names was perhaps Piers Morgan, a well-known figure in English media who spoke with Paul before the game. These allegations are nothing new to Paul, 28, who has played in 13 games. However, he and Bidarian, another co-founder of Most Valuable Promotions, MVP, have no intention of doing nothing this time. Speaking in studio on Monday's episode of The Ariel Helwani Show, Bidarian said that MVP is taking legal action against some individuals who made these kinds of unfounded public charges after both men voiced their disapproval of Morgan's remarks on social media. Yes, absolutely, we are in the process. Enough, Bidarian declared. Jake has demonstrated his abilities in the ring at this point. It's acceptable for people to continue criticizing, but refrain from leveling unfounded charges. Avoid saying anything that might seriously harm his reputation, his company, MVP's brand, and MVP's profile. We're in business with DAZN, therefore the damage is not to be discussed here. Netflix is our business partner. Celsius is our business partner. That is the harm you are doing by forcing us to have unreasonable conversations with our partners. I can categorically state that our legal team is considering pursuing certain targets. To a certain degree, Bidarian is aware that remarks of this nature are inevitable when dealing with someone as openly divisive as his business colleague Paul. Since leaving the influencer sector in 2020, the YouTuber has made a steady effort to gain legitimacy in the boxing community. The problem now, believes Bidarian, is that it's been 5 years since Paul committed to his boxing career. We will thus become much more aggressive in our pursuit of those who make these claims. These misleading claims spread on social media in such a way that users begin to accept the story. That was the beginning of the problems with UFC CEO Dana White, as it was he who claimed that Jake was using steroids and that his fights were rigged. That's how all of that happened. I think it's manufactured because we're in a situation where people simply cannot believe what Jake is doing. Paul's most well-publicized bout to date was his November bout with former heavyweight champion Mike Tyson, which was followed by the Chavez bout. According to Netflix, the event was the first time the streaming service had broadcast a live sporting event and attracted over 108 million people worldwide. However, that attention also brought with it criticisms that Paul and MVP still have to deal with, much like Morgan's. However, the uproar surrounding Paul vs. Chavez Jr. isn't limited to those typical refrains. Just 4 days after the match, federal ICE authorities in California shockingly arrested the player. The 39-year-old boxer has an active arrest warrant in Mexico, according to the Department of Homeland Security, and Chavez is anticipated to be taken back to Mexico to complete a prison term. Bidarian claimed that neither he nor his colleagues at MVP were aware of the problems beforehand. I got a text early Thursday morning, East Coast time, probably around 4 a.m. from an immigration advocate that I know, Bidarian said. Just so you know, ICE has detained Julio Cesar Chavez Jr., he stated. What? I asked. We learned further information later in the day. The strange thing is that on June 27, they designated him as a target. Why didn't it happen until Wednesday night? I don't know. They undoubtedly knew where he would be on June 28 for his battle with Paul.